Hello everyone, welcome yet again to today's topic. My name is Ashwin Joglekar and I am from Resonance PCCP division. Today we are here to discuss about the chapter development. Now chapter development is the first chapter in your economics portion of class 10th. So let us begin and understand what this chapter is trying to tell us. Now as you can see here, first of all we will just go through the introduction. That is, all of us has aspirations or desires for development, but the perspective of development varies from person to person, region to region, state to state and country to country. The way we live now is a byproduct of development done in the past, and simultaneously our future depends on what kind of development we are doing in today's world. Now the first topic here which is given, development, different people, different goals. Now as you know, no two people can have probably the same developmental goals. Each person might have a different developmental goal as per their own surroundings. Different persons have different notions because each of them seek different things. They seek things that are most important for them. Now for example, a person who is working as a daily wage laborer, for him the concept of development might mean something else. Similarly, for a person who is a well-to-do farmer, for him development might mean something else. So therefore, people, that is, which can fulfill their aspirations or desires, different people have different goals because they are different and they are leading their life in different situations, but their general goal is progress. There are two things. First, you can see here A, that is mentioned, different persons can have different developmental goals. Like no two fingers are the same. Similarly, two people can have different developmental goals, and also what may be development for one may not be development for the other. It may be even be destruction for the other. Now what is development for me might be destructive for the other person. Now an example which is given here is about probably the building of a dam. Building of a dam might be beneficial to some people in the city where that dam will bring probably generate electricity and do other things, maybe for the industrial section. But the people who are displaced when this dam is being built, now for them this development is a sign of destruction, that they have to be displaced from where they are living. Now moving further, traditional notion of development. Now with the independence of third world countries, there arose a need for economic development. Till 1960s, the term economic development was generally used as a synonym with economic growth. That is, economic development and economic growth are one and the same thing. But later on, as people started dwelling in this idea, they came to conclude that no, these are two different things, and one is a much more macroscopic analysis of development. That is, but now it is no longer considered identical with economic growth. Definitely notion about the meaning of the term development is changing, but it is also a hard fact that there is no unanimity among economists with regard to the meaning or definition of economic development. Like different economists have different versions or different theories regarding what they call as development. So there is no general consensus on this. However, all agree that economic development is more than economic growth. That is, economic development is something much more bigger than what is economic growth. Hence, it was taken to mean growth plus progressive changes in certain variables of material welfare. Now, changes in the traditional notion of development. The increase in income is not sufficient for a nation. Income can be a major base of economic growth of a nation. That is, it is an indicator of the economic development or growth. But experiences had shown that economic growth could not be translated into the improvement or could not automatically translated into the improvement of levels of living of the poor masses. So generally the growth of a nation economically does not necessarily mean that even the poor people are also well off. Therefore, economists redefined the concept of economic development in terms of the reduction of poverty, unemployment and inequality in context of a growing economy. So these are the three things, that is reduction of poverty, unemployment and inequality in the context of a growing economy. Nowadays, redistribution and growth have become the popular slogan in most of the progressive nations, including India. The concept of economic growth is related to the increase in output of goods and services in an economy. The more goods or things a country produces, that is, that country is supposed to be better off. This can be expressed in two ways again: increase in total output or increase in gross domestic product, that is the GDP of the country. The rise in per capita income or rise in per capita GDP again, that is gross domestic product, that is the total income of the country. Now, therefore, economic development is a broader concept than economic growth. Development concerns not only man's material needs but also improvement of social conditions of life that actually are also contributing to his overall development. It is therefore not only economic growth but growth plus change in social, cultural and institutional pattern. It includes both the growth aspect as well as the distribution aspect. Development must therefore be conceived as a multi-dimensional concept. So that was about development and how development for one person can be destructive for the other, and it is not necessary that development of one is also a development for the other person. Now, moving on to the next topic here, income and other goals. Now, apart from income, certain people have other goals as well. That is, besides seeking more income, one way or the other, people also seek things that like equal treatment, freedom, security and respect of others. They resent discrimination. That is, definitely you might be getting more income at the place you are working, but some other things also matter for human beings, that is like equal treatment, freedom, security and respect of others. All these are important goals. In fact, in some cases, these may be more important than more income or more consumption, because material goods are not all that you need to live. So therefore, they have explained that okay, definitely income is an important aspect, but apart from income, for certain people some other aspects are equally important. Money or material things that one can buy with it is one factor on which our life depends. That is, it's just one aspect, but the quality of our life also depends on non-material things which are available around us, that they are mentioned above, like equal treatment, freedom, security, respect of others, and also there should be no discrimination. Now, there are many things that are not easily measured, but they mean a lot to us or lives. These are often ignored. However, it will be wrong to conclude that what cannot be measured is not important. So, for development, people look at mix of goals. The developmental goals that people have are not only about better income, but also about other important things in life. So, important that is income and other goals again reflects or talks about that income definitely may be one important aspect of development, but apart from income, people also seek certain other things, probably like again equal treatment, there should be no discrimination, there should be freedom, respect of others and other things. Now, moving on to our next topic, how to compare development in different countries or states. Now, again an example which has been provided in the book also, that is your NCERT books, about how can you compare students in a class, probably according to their height, according to the how students perform in co-curricular activities or in sport activities. Apart from that, the most important criteria again is considered is the marks a person or a student scores. So here also, when we have to compare development aspects of different countries or states, how do we compare that? For comparing countries, their income is considered to be one of the most important attributes. That is, income is taken as the most important attribute when we compare any country. Now, again we will see further that how this classification is taken by World Bank and the Human Development Index that is prepared. So, they both use income as one of the criteria. World Bank uses only the income criteria and Human Development Index also uses other criteria as well. Now, first, what is national income? National income is defined. Now, this is an important definition here. Generally, it is asked as a very short answer type question in your exams as well. So, national income is defined as the total value of all the goods and services produced within a country plus income coming from abroad. That is your national income. Moving on to the second point, that is per capita income. Now, what is the income earned by per person? Per capita here is per person income which is earned. So, when the total national income is divided by the total population, it gives us the per capita income. This definition again is important because this is also asked in your board examinations. In the World Development Reports brought out by the World Bank, this criteria is used in classifying countries. Which criteria? Income criteria is used in classification or classifying countries according to rich countries or poor countries. Now, countries with per capita income of $49,300 per annum and above in 2019 are called rich countries. Now, people those who have per capita income of above $49,300 per annum are considered as rich countries. India, and one more thing, those countries with per capita income of $2,500 or less are considered low income countries. India comes in the category of low middle income countries because its per capita income in 2019 was $6,700. Now, you can see a huge disparity between what are the rich countries. They have per capita income of $49,300 per annum per year, whereas the low income countries has 2,500 or less, and India is somewhere just above. You can say that is therefore it is being referred to as low middle income country, $6,700 per annum. The rich countries, excluding countries of Middle East and certain other small countries, have not been included in the world development reports which are published by World Bank or brought out by the World Bank, are generally called developed countries. So, majorly the countries which are rich countries are considered to be developed countries. Now, again in this there is a comparison of two countries. Now, probably you can say in the comments in which country probably you would want to stay. That is monthly incomes of citizens in 2007 in rupees of country A and B. Now, in this there are 5 citizens in country A and B, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and their incomes have been given here in country A and country B, and total income has been given here, and the per capita income also comes out, that is the total income divided by your total population. So, as you can see, the total per capita income of both country A and country B comes out to be the same, but still, as a question, in which country would you like to stay or be part of? Clearly, the answer would be country A, because here you can see there is an equal distribution of income between the different people, but whereas in country B you will find that most of the people are earning very less, and only one person, that is the fifth, is earning 48,000 rupees, and rest are all earning only 500. So, there is a huge disparity of income here. So, therefore, that brings us to our next topic, that is, while averages are useful for comparison, that is what average we have taken out, they also hide disparities. So, that is what example has been given here. You can go through this example. So, therefore, while average income is useful for comparison, it does not tell us how this income is distributed among various people. Some in the economy might be earning very much or huge amounts of money, and some in the same country might not be earning anything. Okay. So, moving on to our next topic, that is income and other criteria. Now, when we looked at individual aspirations and goals, we found that people not only think of better income, but also have goals such as security, respect for others, equal treatment, freedom, etc. in mind. So, apart from income, they also look for these aspects. Similarly, when we think of a nation or a region, we may, besides average income, think of other equally important attributes. That is, now there is a comparison of 3 states given here, that is per capita income of these select states have been given, and this data is again from 2019-20. States mentioned are Haryana, Kerala and Bihar. Haryana having a per capita income of 2,03,340, Kerala having a per capita income of 1,84,000, and Bihar having a per capita of only 38,631 according to 2019-20 data. Now what could these be, these attributes be? Let us examine the rough example of these states. According to the table, Haryana having the highest per capita income is on the top of the table, whereas Kerala and Bihar are on the second and the third position. Now actually these figures are of per capita net state domestic product of the current prices of 2012 and 13. Now in this we find that of the three, Haryana has the highest per capita income and Bihar is at the bottom. This means that on an average a person in Haryana earned 1,04,000 in 1 year, whereas on an average a person in Bihar earned only around 38,000. So if per capita income were to be used as the measure of development, Haryana will be considered the most developed and Bihar would be considered the least developed. But there are other things also included apart from income. Now let us look at that, those things, that is some comparative data on Haryana, Kerala and Bihar. Now in this we have also given now, that is the first contains state, then infant mortality rate per 1000 live births, literacy rate according to 2017-18 and net attendance ratio. You can also see the definitions which are provided here. Infant mortality rate or IMR indicates the number of children die before the age of 1 year as a proportion of 1000 live children born in that particular year. Literacy rate measures the proportion of literate population in the 7 and above age group. Net attendance ratio is the total number of children of age group 14 and 15 years attending school as a percentage of total number of children in that same age group. Now accordingly, when we will see here, Haryana you will see has infant mortality rate of 30, literacy rate of 82% and NAR, that is net attendance ratio, of 61. Kerala on the other hand has infant mortality rate of 10, literacy of 94 and net attendance ratio of 83. Bihar, which has infant mortality rate of 35, literacy rate of 62 and net attendance ratio 43. So according to this data, if we will also put in other attributes, clearly we will find Kerala in a much more better position than Haryana. Okay. Moving on to our next topic, that is public facilities. How is it that average person in Haryana has more income than average person in Kerala but lags behind crucial things? The reason is money. In your pocket cannot buy all the goods and services that you may need to live well, or as money is not the only criteria and money cannot buy you a safe environment and other things. Money definitely is an essential part, but apart from money other things are also essential. So for example, normally your money cannot buy you a pollution free environment or ensure that you get unadulterated medicines, unless you can afford to shift to a certain locality where all these things are already provided. Now that is what brings us to our next topic, that is human development report. Today we are going to do the topic human development report. Previously we had covered topics, probably I will just scroll it up so that you will just have a brief revision of what we did earlier. That is, we looked at the introduction and then we saw development, different people and different goals. Then we talked about traditional notion of development and the changes in traditional notion of development. Later on we are talking about income and other goals, and then how to compare different that is development between different countries or states, and then we saw the concept of national income, per capita income and the World Bank's report which publishes or which classifies countries according to their income, that is the per capita income. Then also we saw that averages are useful for comparison, but it hides disparities. Then we looked at income and other criteria and comparison of 3 states and how Kerala has much more better facilities than Haryana in spite having a lesser per capita income. That is what was covered in public facilities. And now today we will start with our topic, human development report. Now human development report is published by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and This report has three ingredients basically, or three attributes which are part of this report. First is, as we studied, the per capita income. Second is about the life expectancy, and third is education level or literacy levels. Now, all these three aspects are considered while making this report. Today, human development is the core of United Nations Development Program, that is UNDP, which presents it into a new perspective of political and economic freedom and deepening of democracy at the global level, which is economically productive and socially and environmentally sound. The United Nations Development Program, that is UNDP, in its first Human Development Report in 1990, introduced the concept of Human Development Index or HDI. The HDI is cumulative measurement of health status, that is the longevity, education level, that is the knowledge, and per capita or capita income, that is decent standard of living of a person. Now, health status, it should be here per capita income, not capital income. Okay, so health status talks about longevity, that is a choice of to live a long and healthy life. It is measured in terms of the life expectancy in terms of years. Then education level, that is knowledge is a choice to acquire literacy information. It is measured by educational attainment percentage, which is combined gross enrollment ratio in primary, secondary and tertiary levels. Now, third is the per capita income, or that is the decent standard of living, is a choice to enjoy a quality and standard life. It is measured by national income or per capita income in purchasing power parity in US dollars, alright, that is PPP in US dollars. Now, the rank of a country is determined by the overall achievements in these three basic dimensions of human development. HDI ranks countries in relation to each other. Again, why this comparison is being made between different countries? As you know, even competition between students in your class also helps to keep the competitive spirit high. That is why even we or anyone is able to perform or do much more better or given much more than what he or she has given earlier. Similarly, here also the countries, when they are compared, they also know what are the standards set for them or what are the benchmarks. So, they also strive to do better and reach those goals. Therefore, HDI ranks countries in relation to each other to tell them how far a country has travelled in terms of the path of its development. In this way, HDI is indicative to the levels of human development and not complete measure of development, because again this is a continuous progress. On the basis of Human Development Index, 189 countries, that is according to 2018, of the world have been classified into high, medium and low human development categories. India is placed into the group of medium human development with a rank of 130, 130th rank out of 189. So, life expectancy in years is 68.8 according to 2017, and GDP per capita US dollars is 1709.39 according to 2016 data. Now, again this is some data regarding 2019. In this table we have compared or taken the countries, that is India and its neighbouring countries. We have here Sri Lanka, India, Myanmar, Pakistan, Nepal and Bangladesh. Now, as per the recent things which we have been witnessing in Sri Lanka, but still according to this 2019 data, the gross national income or per capita income in Sri Lanka was much way higher than what was in India, that is $12,707. India was at second with $6,681. Life expectancy again in Sri Lanka is much high, 77. India stands at 69.7, that is after Nepal and Bangladesh, after Bangladesh and Nepal, and then mean years of schooling and finally the rank. So, India is at 130, Sri Lanka is performing, or Sri Lanka's performance among the neighbouring countries is much better, that is it is at 73 or 73rd position among the 189 countries. Okay. So, this is the table which has been provided for the comparison of various countries, and here they have only included India and its neighbours. You can just check the data here if you want. India 130, Myanmar is at 148, Pakistan is at 154, Nepal at 143 and Bangladesh at 134. Probably while doing this, you can also check your progress and do attempt these question and answers at home, so that you know till where you have learned your concept. That is, give an example of a development plan that has conflicting goals according to World Bank, what can determine the development of a country. If income is the only criteria, then which state between Maharashtra and Kerala may be considered more developed? Which Indian state has an efficient public distribution system? Now, moving on to our next topic, that is human development and economic development. Again, does human development is all about economic development, or these two are different things, or do they have a certain kind of connection in between them? Economic development is a broader concept. It is economic growth plus something more than economic growth. The basic ideas in economic development are rise in productivity, decline in unemployment, poverty and inequality from high levels. Economic development alone cannot promote human development. So, it is a part, but also it can not just alone be a promoter of human development. Human development again is the process of both quantitative as well as qualitative growth. The concept of human development was taken into a broader sense. It touches social, economic, political and cultural aspects of human life, with special emphasis on reduction of poverty and minimizing the gap between the rich and the poor, the disparity levels. There should not be an unemployment problem in the economy. The concept of human development touches all aspects of human life, or which are the aspects which concern human life. This brings us to our topic, that is sustainability of development. Now, again, sustainable development you have seen again in your class, that is class 10th geography chapter, resources and development. There also we talk about sustainable development. Here also sustainability of development is a matter of sharing development opportunity, not the poverty and human deprivation. If the present is miserable and unacceptable to the majority of the world's people, it must be changed before it is sustained. In other words, what must be sustained are worthwhile life opportunities, not human deprivation. So, therefore, sustainable development is the real economic development accompanied by an increase in economic welfare, which can be potentially shared by future generations as well. So, therefore, again development done not at the harm of the others or the future generations. So, therefore, example are given are groundwater in India or exhaustion of nation's resources. So, these again are for future generations also. We are not the only ones who are entitled to use these resources. So, therefore, there should be a concept of sustainable development, that is. Now, features given are productivity is increased, increase in output in real terms, standard of living of people is improved and there is an addition to welfare, objectives of removal of poverty, inequality and illiteracy are achieved and more employment opportunities are generated. It emphasizes that cost of development, particularly cost of environmental loss, should be taken care of and standard of life has to be improved. Stock of natural capital, that is stock of renewable and non-renewable resources, should be taken or is maintained and increased along with the preservation of human capital and physical capital. Now, why there is a need for sustainable development? Because of the rapid economic growth and industrialization have led to reckless exploitation of our resources. The stock of natural resources like forests, fossil fuels, which meets most of our energy requirements, are limited. Therefore, the growth of all countries in the future therefore likely to be endangered if the limited resources are completely exhausted. Although fossil fuels and minerals are essential for economic development, their use damages the environment and ecology. They cause pollution and disturb the balance in nature. Therefore, the global concern today is to adopt a strategy of economic growth that is environment friendly. The steps which are taken for sustainable development, some of the important measures being considered for this purpose are increased use of renewable energy and clean sources of energy, the green energy, less use of fossil fuels, organic farming, measures to reduce global warming and global limits on carbon emissions, etc. Earth has enough resources to meet the needs of all, but not enough to satisfy the greed of even one person. Now, this was a quote by Mahatma Gandhi, that there is enough to satisfy everybody's need, but not somebody's greed. So, sustainability is the capacity to use the resources judiciously and maintain their balance. Every generation wants to get the greatest benefits from the available resources, but they should also keep in mind that what they are doing is also taking the share of the future generations. But such a thing would be quite disastrous, because the available resources shall be exhausted at a rapid speed and within a short period of time. And we, especially our coming generations, will be deprived of such resources. So we should use our resources most judiciously, so that certain part of them is left for our coming generations to use it in future. We should protect our animal wealth, both animals and birds, from human exploitation, otherwise some species will be lost forever. Apart from that, most of the mineral wealth, again certain resources like water, wind energy and solar energy are inexhaustible, but we must see that they are not put to wrong use. There is no harm in using the land for cultivation, but we should see that its fertility is maintained, otherwise it will sooner turn into a wasteland. And most of the mineral wealth and iron, copper, gold and silver, etc. is exhaustible, and is as such must be used very carefully. So no doubt we should utilize our resources for our benefits, but we should sustain them and maintain them for our future as well as for the welfare of coming generations. So therefore, most appropriately it has been said that earth has enough resources to meet the demands of all, but not enough to satisfy the greed of even one person, because the greed is what is never finished. It's always increasing. You today you have some money, tomorrow you want more money, and day after tomorrow you want probably more money. So one way or the to find out if we are properly nourished is to calculate about the BMI, which has been mentioned here. Probably you can see how BMI is calculated, weight of each student in kilograms, and the height is measured, and then the height is converted into centimeters into meters, and divide the weight in kg by the square of the height. So you get the BMI, and that brings us to the end of our chapter. Here again some key terms are mentioned, that is material goods, infant mortality rate, literacy rate, net attendance ratio and public distribution system. You can just go through them, and I hope you like the video. Thank you so much, and this completes your chapter development.